Have you ever wondered why? No matter how hard you work, money seems to slip through your fingers. You put in the effort, you do the hours, yet wealth feels like a guest that never stays long enough. The truth is, most people think financial struggles come from outside forces, bad luck, unfair systems, or not having enough opportunities, but the deepest blocks to wealth often live much closer. They live inside of us, and here's the most surprising part. Once you recognize these inner blocks, they lose their power. The moment you see them clearly, you unlock the flow of abundance that's been waiting for you all along. So before we dive in, take a deep breath. This is not just another list of money tips. It's an invitation to look inward, to uncover the quiet ways you may have been standing in your own way. Because wealth is not just numbers in a bank account, it's a reflection of your beliefs, your habits, your choices, and your willingness to grow. Today, we will explore 5 powerful signs that may be blocking your own wealth. Some of them may surprise you, some may feel uncomfortably familiar, but each one holds a mirror, showing you where transformation can begin. And as we walk through these 5 signs, because what you're about to hear has the power to shift not just your finances, but the way you see yourself, your worth, and your future. Let's begin. Number 1. Constant negative self-talk. One of the most subtle, yet most powerful ways we block our own wealth is through the words we whisper to ourselves, or inner dialogue. Think about it. Every day, you have thousands of thoughts, and many of them carry silent messages about money. Maybe you've caught yourself saying things like, "I'll never be rich," or "I'm just not good with money," or even "people like me don't get ahead." Financially, these may seem harmless, like passing comments in your mind, but over time, they shape your identity. They become beliefs, and beliefs quietly design the boundaries of what you think is possible. Imagine a garden where you want to grow fruit, but every morning, you pour poison into the soil. Can you really expect healthy trees to grow? Negative self-talk is that poison. It seeps into your subconscious, and soon, you start living out the very story you keep repeating. Here's the thing. Your brain listens, your body listens, and the universe listens. If you constantly tell yourself you can't, that becomes the reality you unconsciously create. But the reverse is also true. When you shift the words, you shift the energy. For example, instead of saying, "I can't afford this," what if you said, "How can I create the money for this?" Instead of, "I'm always broke," what if you said, "I am learning to master my finances"? There's a story of a woman who grew up believing she was bad with money. Every time she got paid, she would joke, "It's gone before I even see it." And guess what? That pattern repeated year after year, until one day she decided to change her language. She began affirming, "I am capable of managing and growing my money. I welcome abundance." Slowly, her behavior changed. She tracked her spending, saved more, and attracted new opportunities within a few years. Her financial life was unrecognizable, all because she rewrote her self-talk. The words you speak to yourself are seeds. Plant seeds of possibility, not scarcity. So ask yourself, what story have I been telling myself about money? And is it a story worth keeping? Because the truth is, wealth doesn't just respond to effort, it responds to belief. And belief begins with the conversation happening in your own mind. And this brings us to the next hidden block. Even when your self-talk improves, many people still carry a heavier unhealthy, negative relationship with money itself. Let's explore how this block silently repels wealth. Number 2, negative relationship with money. If self-talk is the voice in your head, then your relationship with money is the energy in your heart. And for many people, that relationship is wounded. Think back for a moment. What did you hear about money growing up? Maybe it was, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. Or maybe, we can't afford that. Don't even ask. Words like these may have seemed small, but they carried powerful messages. They planted emotions, fear, shame, guilt that became tied to the very idea of money. And here's the truth: when money is linked to negative emotions, you will unconsciously push it away. Imagine if money were a friend. How would it feel if every time it came near, you said, "You're the cause of stress. You're dirty. You're the root of evil"? Would that friend want to stay? Probably not. Yet this is exactly how many of us treat money, by holding hidden resentment, fear, or guilt around it. Here's a story. A man once earned a good salary, but he grew up hearing that rich people were selfish and unkind deep down. He felt guilty whenever he saved or made more money than his friends. So, without realizing it, he spent impulsively, gave away too much, and avoided investing. Money flowed in, but just as quickly, it flowed out. Only when he faced his negative beliefs about wealth did his finances stabilize. The lesson is simple. Money itself is neutral. It's not good or bad. It's a tool. It only amplifies what's already inside of you. If you are generous, money helps you give more. If you are wise, money helps you create more opportunities. But if you feel ashamed of it or afraid of it, money will slip away. So pause and ask yourself, what emotions do I carry when I think about money? Do I feel guilt for wanting more? Do I feel fear when I receive it? Do I secretly believe I don't deserve it? Your relationship with money mirrors your relationship with yourself. Healing one means healing the other, and once you begin to heal this relationship, you'll notice a shift. Money starts to feel lighter, less stressful, more like an ally than an enemy. But healing emotions isn't the whole journey. Even with a better relationship, wealth cannot thrive without structure, and that's where the next block comes in. Number 3, living without financial boundaries. Imagine pouring water into a jar that's cracked at the bottom. No matter how much you fill it, the water always leaks out. That's what it's like to live without financial boundaries. For some people, the issue isn't that money never arrives, it's that it never stays. Without structure, without intention, money slips away as quickly as it comes in. Maybe this looks like spending without a plan, buying things for the thrill of the moment, or avoiding the boring tasks of budgeting and tracking expenses. At first, it feels like freedom. You tell yourself, I don't want to be restricted. I want to enjoy my money. But soon, that so-called freedom feels more like chaos. Bills pile up, savings vanish, and stress becomes constant. Here's the truth. Freedom without boundaries is not freedom, it's confusion. Real freedom comes when you know where your money is going and why. Let's look at an example. A young woman made a decent salary, but she never paid attention to her spending. Every month, her bank account drained faster than she expected. She felt trapped, even hopeless. Then one day, she decided to create simple boundaries. She set a budget, tracked her expenses, and committed to saving a small percentage of her income no matter what. Within months, she felt calmer. Within years, she had savings, investments, and the ability to say yes to opportunities she once thought were impossible. The difference wasn't more income, it was boundaries. Think of boundaries like a container. They don't limit abundance, they hold it. They allow wealth to accumulate, grow, and serve you in the long run. So ask yourself, do I have clear boundaries for my money? Or am I leaking abundance through cracks I've ignored? Because the truth is, you don't need to make more to feel wealthy. You need to protect and direct what you already have, but boundaries alone are not enough. You can't just set limits on money, you also have to take full ownership of your role in creating wealth. And that's where the next block reveals itself. Number 4, avoiding responsibility. Another powerful way people block their own wealth is by avoiding responsibility. It often sounds like this: the economy is against me. If only my boss paid me more, I'd be fine. Some people are just lucky I wasn't born that way. Do those phrases sound familiar? They're all examples of shifting responsibility outward, and when you do that, you give away your power. Responsibility can feel heavy, even unfair. But here's the paradox. Avoiding it doesn't lighten your load, it makes it heavier. Because when you refuse to own your role, you stay stuck. Waiting for someone else to change your circumstances, there's a story of a man who lost his job and blamed the company for ruining his future. He told the same story to anyone who would listen. They destroyed my life. But when he finally decided to take responsibility, things changed. He admitted to himself that he had relied too much on one income stream and never built other skills. Once he owned that truth, he began learning, freelancing, and eventually started his own small business. Responsibility, once embraced, became his path to freedom. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means recognizing where your choices, your actions, and your mindset can shift the outcome. It's about moving from victimhood to empowerment. Think of it like steering a ship. If you hand the wheel to the wind or the waves, you'll drift endlessly at the mercy of outside forces. But when you hold the wheel yourself, storms may still come, but you have the power to adjust your sails, change direction, and keep moving forward. So ask yourself, where am I avoiding responsibility with money? Am I blaming others for my situation? Am I waiting for rescue instead of taking action? Because the moment you take responsibility, you reclaim power. And with that power, you can create change. And this leads us to the final block, the one that often hides behind excuses, fear, and comfort. Resisting growth and change. Number 5. Resisting growth and change. The fine land, often most invisible block to wealth, is resisting growth and change. It's comfortable to stay in familiar patterns. Even if your financial life is stagnant, it can feel safer than stepping into the unknown. Yet wealth rarely arrives in comfort. Zone's abundance demands expansion. It requires that you stretch, adapt, and sometimes take risks that feel uncomfortable at first. Think about someone who's been offered a new job, a promotion, or an opportunity to start a business. Fear creeps in. What if I fail? I'm not ready. Better to stay where it's safe. And so they say no over and over again, unknowingly blocking doors that could have led to financial freedom. Here's a story. A young entrepreneur had a chance to invest in a small startup. At first, she hesitated, worried about losing her savings. Months later, the company skyrocketed, and she realized the opportunity had passed. Regret set in, but, more importantly, she understood that staying small had cost her potential wealth. Growth isn't just about money, it's about embracing possibility, even when it feels risky. Resisting growth often comes from fear, habits, or the weight of self-doubt. It whispers, stay where you are. Don't try anything new, but wealth is attracted to courage, vision, and expansion. The universe rewards those willing to step forward, even imperfectly. So here's the key. Identify the areas in your life where fear is keeping you stuck. What opportunities have you ignored because change felt uncomfortable? And instead of waiting for the perfect moment, which never arrives, decide to take one brave step today, because every step toward growth weakens the block. Every decision to expand your skills, income streams, or mindset brings you closer to the flow of abundance you've been seeking. Remember, wealth is not just about money coming in. It's about your willingness to stretch, evolve, and embrace the unknown. Growth is the bridge from limitation to possibility. And now, as we close this journey through the 5 hidden blocks to wealth, it's time for the conclusion, where we release these barriers, unlock abundance, and empower you to step fully into your financial potential. Final reminder, releasing the blocks, opening the flow. We've now explored 5 hidden ways you might be blocking your own wealth: constant negative self-talk, negative relationship with money, living without financial boundaries, avoiding responsibility, resisting growth and change. Each of these blocks may have been invisible to you, quietly shaping your financial reality. But here's the empowering truth. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Imagine standing before a door that has been locked from the inside. No one outside can open it for you. All you need is the key, and that key is courage and choice. When you notice your negative self-talk, you can rewrite your inner dialogue. When you heal your relationship with money, you can welcome it without fear. When you set financial boundaries, you give wealth a safe place to grow. When you embrace responsibility, you reclaim your power to create. And when you step into growth, you open doors to opportunities you never imagined. Wealth is more than numbers. It's a reflection of your mindset, your actions, and your willingness to evolve. Every block removed is a step closer to alignment with abundance. So, I invite you now. Take a moment to identify which of these 5 blocks resonates most with you. Commit to one conscious action today to release it, and affirm to yourself, I am worthy of wealth. I am ready to receive. I take full responsibility for my abundance. The journey to financial freedom is not just about money. It's about becoming the person who can naturally attract, manage, and grow it. You are capable, you are worthy, and the flow of abundance is waiting for you. Release the blocks and embrace the wealth that is your birthright, because your financial story doesn't have to be dictated by fear, habit, or past limitations. It can be rewritten, starting today. Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions, your breakthroughs, and let us know what you'd love to hear next. Subscribe to stay connected. And if this message could uplift someone you care about, send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.